This week, Apple retook the crown as the most valuable company on Earth, passing Nvidia, on the same day chip stocks had their worst week in over a year. And everyone said the same thing. The artificial intelligence bubble finally popped. That take is not just wrong. It's got the whole story backwards. Let me show you what actually happened. Okay, let me set this up because it matters. For 2 solid years, there was basically one rule in this market: buy the company making the biggest artificial intelligence bet. The most compute, the most chips, the heaviest spending. Nvidia sold the shovels, so Nvidia went to the moon, and last year it became the most valuable company in the world. The whole trade was built on one word: more. More spending, more capacity, more compute forever. And this week, something broke the rule. Taiwan Semiconductor, the company that physically makes the world's most advanced chips, reported earnings, and it was a blowout, record revenue, and it raised its guidance for the whole year. That is the company at the dead center of artificial intelligence telling you, out loud, demand is not slowing down, it's speeding up. The textbook says the stock rips. Instead it fell, and it dragged the whole chip sector to its worst week since last year's tariff shock. So if demand is accelerating, why did the market sell? Here's the twist: it wasn't demand. Taiwan Semiconductor just told you demand is fine. It was the bill, because buried in that same report was one more number. To keep up with all that lovely demand, they're raising how much they spend on new factories to as much as $64 billion this year. And the market took one look at that and asked the question every mature bull market eventually asks. This growth is real, but what does it actually cost? And what's left over for me? And that is the whole story of the crown changing hands. For 2 years, the market paid a premium for optionality, for the giant bet, for the maybe this changes everything spending. But this week it flipped. Suddenly it didn't want the company with the biggest bet. It wanted the company with the surest thing. Buybacks, fat margins, cash coming back to shareholders. It stopped paying for maybe and started paying for definitely. And there is exactly one $3 trillion company built entirely around definitely. Apple, and here's the part that should stop you cold. Apple didn't retake the crown by winning artificial intelligence. Apple is arguably behind in artificial intelligence. It retook the crown by spending the least on it. While Nvidia and the chip makers pour tens of billions into the build-out, Apple mostly buys back its own stock and prints margin. So in a week when the market got scared about who has to pay for all this, it ran straight to the one giant that basically isn't paying. That's not a vote for artificial intelligence. It's a vote against the cost of it. Now the detail almost nobody's saying out loud. The artificial intelligence names everyone is calling the bubble, they already lagged. According to one analysis, the 4 big monetizers, Alphabet, Amazon, Meta, and Microsoft, added only about $426 billion in market value all year, combined. Microsoft is actually down. Meanwhile, the chip suppliers were the ones that ran. So think about what the crowd is doing. It's selling the artificial intelligence trade to buy Coca-Cola and Procter & Gamble. But the trade it's selling isn't even the one that made the money. It's panic selling the wrong stock at the wrong time. Put it in one picture. This year, Apple, the company spending the least on artificial intelligence, is up about 22%. Nvidia, the company the entire build-out runs through, is up just 7%, and it just lost the crown. Same technology, same boom. The market simply stopped rewarding the company writing the biggest checks and started rewarding the one writing the smallest. That is not a bubble popping. That is a boom growing up and getting picky about who it pays. Now let me argue against myself, because if I don't, I'm just selling you a comfortable story. There are real ways this read is wrong. 1. Maybe this isn't a rotation, maybe it's the first crack, and in 6 months the whole complex is lower and I look naive. Rotations and tops can look identical at the start. 2. Apple leading because it's the safe hiding spot is exactly what late-cycle markets do right before they roll over. The staples bid. A flight to certainty. Some very smart people, like Jim Cramer this week, are comparing this to April 2000 for a reason. So I'm not telling you it's all clear. I'm telling you the popular headline, "Artificial intelligence is over," is the one thing the evidence doesn't support. Here's the test, and I'm putting it on the record. This whole thing gets settled next week when the artificial intelligence monetizers report. Microsoft, Alphabet, Meta, Amazon. If this is really a demand problem, an actual bubble, they miss or they cut their spending, and I'm wrong. But if it's what I think it is, a rotation, then the businesses actually turning artificial intelligence into revenue hold up just fine, even while the tape panics around them. I call, at least 2 of the big monetizers beat next week, and the whole idea that this spending never converts to profit gets challenged, not confirmed. If they miss, I'll say so, right here. That's the deal. Most dangerous moment in any boom isn't when it ends. It's when it changes shape and everybody mistakes the new shape for the end. The artificial intelligence trade didn't die this week. It grew up. It stopped paying for dreams and started paying for proof. So the next time you see the best possible earnings get sold and a headline screams the bubble popped, ask a better question. Is this a bubble popping or a boom finally getting picky about who it pays? Earl's full daily brief is on the channel. I'm Frankie, the asymmetric signal, one contrarian read a day. Subscribe.